Hey everyone, welcome to That Triathlon Life Podcast. I'm Eric Lagerstrom.
I'm Paula Finley.
I'm Nick Goldston.
Forget your line. This is extremely complicated and exciting episode for us. We have 3 different cameras going.
1, 2, 3.
But most importantly, Nick is here in person.
Woo!
Recording our 100th TTL podcast episode.
Did you ever think?
Thank you to all the podcast supporters, the new supporters who signed up and got Nick here. Because we said that on a couple podcasts ago. If we got X number of new supporters for the podcast, we would bring Nick here. He's here in the flesh.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, we're never together for the podcast recording. I'm usually in California.
Yeah.
Unless we're like in our van randomly.
Right.
In
I would
California.
say
also happens.
maybe like 10 out of the 100 we've done in person together and like 90 separate. Might be a rough estimate, but it is so fun to have Nick here. Not only is he staying for the podcast, he's staying for another week after this.
There was only one flight out, and I'm sorry.
I swear we have real jobs.
Yeah, right.
But
right,
in celebration of the 100th anniversary podcast, we got donuts that spell out the letters, the numbers 100. One Long John. It's one Long John and then 2 circle donuts. So that equals 100.
Well, this is through the course of this podcast. By the way, we should say before we get into anything else, we are actually recording this on video and it will be on YouTube the same day as the podcast comes out, as you've normally listened to the podcast. So for all the people who have been clamoring about a video podcast, don't get used to it, but we are doing it for this time.
Shut your Spotify right now and go over to YouTube and watch this.
Yes. And we're going to be slowly, or maybe not so slowly, making our way through these donuts. For people who are just listening, we have one shaped like a 1 and 2 shaped like zeros to make 100. So Paula, do you want to do the honors
I'll do the honors here.
Yes. I'm also going to grab mine. Okay. What is this one called again? This is a glazed stick.
I call it a Long John, but maybe that's a Canadian thing.
I think at the store they called it a tiger Long John.
Oh yeah,
maple bar.
Well, let me see what we got going on here. Yes, notes of nutmeg.
Pretty good.
Rich cinnamon flavor. It's good. It's quite good. Okay, let's get right to it here. We have 2 this or that's this week. We're going all out for episode 100. We don't know how long this is going to be. We have a lot of things planned. This might be a little longer than usual, but we got nothing else going on today, right? I just got to edit this, which is going to take 8 hours, but that'll be fine. Okay, so for the first this or that, hello and almost 2024. Happy almost 2024. Adding to the call for questions with a holiday themed this or that. Okay, so we'll do a little this or that here. Cue theme song. This or that with TTL. Mulled wine or eggnog?
Mulled wine.
Have you had mulled wine?
I don't even know what that is.
Oh yeah.
So eggnog.
Mulled wine is very gross to me. So
How do you spell that? MOLD?
MU.
The MULLED.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You're gonna get a lot of mulled wine DMs, Eric. I'm sorry. Wrapping paper or gift bags?
Wrapping paper for sure.
Way more fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Christmas Day workout or a nap?
Both?
Christmas Day workout.
Oh, of course. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen these movies, but Love Actually or Die Hard?
Love Actually. That's our
Actually.
Christmas movie.
So I don't want to burst your bubble here, but I saw this thing recently. All of the relationships in Love Actually, other than like the couple shooting the adult film, are like Me Too. Like shouldn't happen. It's like bosses and their subordinates, or like people cheating on their spouses. It's all
I know.
Problematic.
Yeah.
We've seen the movie
Yeah.
several times.
It's just funny. I feel like that movie couldn't come out today. People are like, maybe not.
I don't know.
I feel like that's the point.
Ringing the new year with bubbly or in bed by 9?
Both.
How? Oh, so you're bubbly at 8:30, in bed by 9?
Well,
yes.
Our plan initially was to probably be in bed by 9, in bed by midnight East Coast time for here out on the West Coast. But then our New Year's party spiraled out of control, and we didn't go to bed until like 11:30.
11:30.
You guys, I'm already done my donut.
Uh-oh. Well, are we?
Sounds like a pacing problem.
I hate to say, I'm gonna for comedic effect here. We actually do have a backup 0. We have a backup set of donuts. So 1 second as I grab them.
Really? We got a backup 0.
Super prepared.
You guys, I can't eat 2 donuts.
We
in
have
a
a
day.
backup of all 3, actually. Okay, so we've replaced Paula's fallen donut. Okay, next set of this or that's here. They're all based on the number 100, since this is our 100th episode. By the way, I promise this is a
Genius.
triathlon podcast. Do a 100-mile bike race or 100K ultramarathon.
I think I would take the 100K run.
What?
That's a long day, Paula.
Those are like, dude,
That's a long day.
they're like, that is literally twice as long as the 100-mile bike race.
That is so
I just don't think I could do the
long.
100-mile run.
100K.
No, it's a 100K run.
Oh, still.
Yeah, 62
still.
miles.
That's a huge if.
Yeah. What about you, Eric?
I think currently I would do the bike race.
Do you guys know how many people finish 100K races that don't train as much as us? Of course we could finish it.
You think really?
Yes.
It's 62 miles.
Yeah, if you go slow enough and eat enough.
Oh, yeah, it's just hard. But maybe you're right. I don't know what it's like to be in those crazy bodies.
Well, I hate riding my bike, so I'm taking the run.
Okay, 100-mile run. 100K run, sorry. Next one here, PR your 70.3 swim by 100 seconds or PR your 70.3 run by 100 seconds.
We don't PR 70.3 things.
That's fine. That's fine. I will go 100 seconds faster on my run for sure. 100 seconds faster on the swim.
Who cares?
Pointless.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Did
matter.
you say buoyantless or pointless?
Pointless.
Pointless and buoyantless. Okay, very nice. Little punny there. Okay, eat 100 donuts over the span of a week. Oh boy. Or drink 100 glasses of wine over the span of 3 weeks.
Wine.
100 glasses of wine over 3 weeks. So that's 30 glasses of wine. Oh, it's doable. Yeah, it's definitely doable.
Yeah, I like donuts okay, but 2 or 3, I would be done with donuts for the day.
Yeah. Paula?
I think I could easily do the donut challenge.
You know what? I wish they would challenge me.
Yeah. And also I get little like tipsy off of 1 glass of wine.
That's funny because I get tipsy off a donut.
So I'd be completely drunk for 3 weeks straight.
Right. Okay, great. Love it. Love it. And then final one here. Oh, this is sad. Spend $100 on bike parts or $100 on camera equipment. $100 on camera equipment will not get you very far.
That's not getting you anywhere with bike parts either. That's one tire.
Yeah, you could buy a cheap cassette for $100. You can buy a chain ring for $100. You can buy a chain for $100.
But that's kind of like buying bike stuff is just like a necessary
You're right. It's not
shitty
fun.
thing. It's not
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
I would imagine buying camera stuff is more fun, although I've never done it.
It's all really
Ouch.
affordable, actually, and you should
Well,
tell
I had
Eric to do it more.
I had a huge box of Arc'teryx stuff show up that I might have ordered, and I was like, Eric, just pretend this is like getting camera stuff. Don't even look in the box. Let me go to my room and open this in private.
Slowly with soothing music and candles.
And then I
lit.
keep coming out with new jackets. Like, did you even notice this was new?
Ooh, that's like camera stuff.
I'm just not saying anything
beautiful.
because we are filming now on 3 different cameras.
Yeah. Oh, the time just changed.
Yeah. Old school, dude. I love that clock.
Oh, this could be problematic. I'm going to call myself out here.
No,
for
only on the
editing.
hour. Only on the hour.
No, I know, but like if I edit, time changes. Like we might have to, I might have to, do you see what I'm saying here?
Yes.
Like if I cut
It'll
things
be fine.
around, it'll be like 4:30 to 4:20 to 4:50. That's fine. I might just swap that in. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to give away something to one of our podcast supporters. And for those of you who don't know, if you notice, we don't have ads on this podcast. So we rely on support from our listeners. You can become a podcast supporter as well as submit your own questions to the podcast at thattriathlonlife.com/podcast. And most weeks we like to pick a random supporter to give a bottle to. Actually, it's all kinds of stuff, but right now we're going through bottles. So this week we put in our random number generator, went through the entire list of podcast supporters, and congratulations, Reed Sund, you won a Paula Finley and Eric Lagerstrom bottle.
He's a big supporter of of everything we do.
Everything.
Oh, really?
He races in the
You
kit.
recognize the name.
Yeah, I recognize the name.
Which is, by the way, coincidence, right?
Yeah, it's 100% a coincidence, but he wears the TTL kit. I think he like ran with Kristen Yax.
Oh, right. She won
Sacramento.
Ironman California.
Yeah,
Yes.
in the
yes,
TTL kit.
Yes. Yes.
So thank you, Reed, for all your support, and your bottles will be on the way.
Thank you, Reed. Okay. First question here. Now, we're doing something a little different on this podcast episode. We thought it would be fun. Actually, we didn't think it would be fun. Lindsay Corbin came up with this idea. She thought it would be fun if we called some people So yesterday, Paula on the That Triathlon Life Instagram, she opened up a question and allowed people to put in their phone numbers so that we could call them live on the air.
Genius.
Yeah, but it's going to be, we got over 100 phone numbers and we're picking randomly which ones we call. And there's a good chance if we call someone, they might not pick up, or their answer will be so bad, we'll just cut that whole segment out.
Right. Or they'll just cry because they're so starstruck the whole time. We can't use the audio.
So it'll be really fun. And are we starting with that, Nick?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think we should start with that.
So you're just going to pick a random number and call it.
Yep. We're going to
You guys, let me tell you, the process of setting this whole hoopla up is insane. Like, you guys went to Best Buy, you were working on this all morning. I come in and the whole thing, there's no more coffee table downstairs.
Let's just say my office does not look like this normally.
Right.
It's been a little bit of a rearrangement, but I'm so psyched.
And I think it's going to work with the calling in, and you guys are going to be able to hear on their end, and
witchcraft.
It's really fun. Okay, let's try it.
Okay. First one, we're giving it a go.
Oh my gosh. Nick, you talk.
Okay.
I'm nervous.
We'll see.
Hello?
Hello, caller. You are live
Can
on
you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you. You're live on the That Triathlon Life Podcast right now.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay, so
Am I the 15th caller?
you're the 100th caller. Yes, exactly.
Do I win a 1 day, no night stay at the Noah's Ark in Wisconsin Dells?
Exactly. Congratulations. You finally made it. Okay, so caller, who are you and where are you right now?
My name is Trixie Mattel, and I'm walking through Milwaukee. I'm having thoughts and feelings about the cold, you guys.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
It's kind of nice.
We're in Nice Bend. So for those of you who don't know, this is Trixie Mattel. A little surprise here. This is Trixie Mattel, the drag queen, also our first ever guest on this podcast. So it seems fitting that we have her on our 100th episode.
Hi, Trixie.
Hello. Hi, Paula. Hi, Eric. Hi, everyone.
Okay, so we were hoping that you had maybe a question related to either cameras or running or anything triathlon that we could help answer on the air.
I do. Okay, so it's so cold in Wisconsin right now. I mean, like, anything under freezing, I think it's really hard to be outside and run. Like, when I did my marathon, it was 46 and my hands were like ice for the first hour. But I've heard things about like, oh, it's good to run in the heat or it's good to run in the cold. What are the main differences? And is one really better than the other?
That's a great question, right? Because you would think running in 40-degree weather, there's no way that's better than running in like 60-degree weather.
Well, yeah, I've heard from some people that like anytime you're in the cold, your body's burning calories like to stay warm.
Got it.
And then I've heard like obviously for pushing yourself, it's good to expose yourself to some like hot days running,
Great question. All right, Eric, Paula, what do you got?
Yeah, I would say running in the cold is uncomfortable unless you are dressed appropriately. So clothing is key when you're running in winter, and we've been doing that now for 2 months in Bend, but when you go out the door, if you feel a little bit cold, that's fine, because when you start running, you'll be perfectly comfortable. And I try to err on like too many clothes versus not enough. The things I feel like get the coldest are my fingers. So gloves are really good, and a little like ear cover hat thing. If I have those two things, I'm pretty much good to go. What bugs me more though is like the icy roads. That's where I think it gets a little sketchier. But yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes you like bundle up and then you're literally like a half mile in and you're like, I'm way too hot.
Right.
I think I would prefer to have that always versus being too cold though. But I think like the key to the cold thing is layering. So you want to have like a solid base layer and then some sort of a jacket that you could either maybe take off or unzip and like have this like internal, thermal regulation strategy going on.
Yeah.
And to answer your question about, the calories burned in the cold, that your body has to keep itself warm, I looked into this a few months ago, and maybe that is true to a very, very slight degree. But regardless of that, the fastest marathon times happen in the cold, around 40 degrees. That is the best place for it.
Yeah, not minus 40, but 40 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, the hotter it gets, the harder it gets. And like when you're running in the cold, I feel like you don't feel as thirsty, but you gotta... Trixie, Nick is chowing down donuts right now.
While talking on our podcast, plowing through a maple bar.
Yeah, well, you know that I kind of like tell him he looks like a Halloween like CVS skeleton.
Yeah, we've heard that.
I know body shaming is frowned upon, but I think when it comes to Nick and like, I think he's okay to have a donut.
I am okay.
He's okay. And he swam.
Like all three of you are like walking calorie deficits. I think you're all okay.
That's right.
We always say it's not healthy what we
My
do.
My other question is, I feel like a lot of running like apparel, like marketing is kind of snake oil. But for, I'm visiting Milwaukee a lot this winter. Is there anything like any products or brands that you think are really good for the cold?
Ooh.
In terms of just like quality.
Like worth the money. Like if it's a splurge or it actually has some great technology where it's, because, you want it to feel thin and movable, but you also want to stay warm. And like, I feel like so many, when it comes to like long leggings and stuff. Oh, and then the age old question, are men supposed to wear little booty shorts over the leggings, or are we just supposed to run around with leggings and then like a very graphic front?
I would say be the change you want to see in the world. If you are about the leggings with no shorts, then you do that.
Yeah, I don't think there are any rules here. I'm very much about leggings without shorts over the top. I just can't dissociate the shorts over the top from like high school, junior varsity. Like I don't quite want people to see my little pasty legs, and I don't know. I like the least amount of stuff you can be running in, be as close to like natural as possible.
Yeah.
Trixie, my number one piece of apparel for running in the winter, and I wear this nearly every day. It's from On, and it is a sponsor of mine, so I'm a little biased, but I truly think it's the best stuff. It's called the Weather Vest, and it's kind of like this insulated vest, but isn't overly hot. I'll send you a link to it. It's $189, which is a lot for a vest, but you'll never buy another winter vest for 10 years. Like it's the perfect running thing. So that's my tip.
Yeah. Like pair that with my favorite thing to run in right now is a merino long sleeve shirt that Castelli makes. Put a vest over that, unzip the vest. You're optioned out. You're good.
That's awesome. Fantastic.
That's great.
Fantastic.
These are great answers. Thank you for taking my call. I guess you guys called me.
Yeah, we did.
Congratulations on 100 episodes.
Thanks.
That's really crazy.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Trixie. Appreciate it.
Thanks for
I
picking
don't know
up.
who is listening to you, but good for them.
We don't either. Sometimes we're surprised.
At least our moms.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Trixie.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was a bit of a surprise, but that was fun.
I didn't know that's who we were starting with.
I didn't
know.
either.
I know. I just decided to make a call last minute there.
Honestly, I had no idea it was Trixie until she said her name.
I know. I knew
Yep.
that. I knew that. That's why I teased it a little bit, but didn't give it away.
That was crazy. It shocked me as well.
Okay. Oh, I just realized.
She's for sure the most famous person by a million that we'll ever talk to. So it's kind of cool for us. I'm a bit starstruck.
That's fun. And for the new listeners, yes, she was our first ever guest on the podcast because Trixie did get into running and has done marathon by herself, done several half marathons.
Yep.
So pretty cool.
Okay. That was fun. Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. Okay. We're calling a next person here. Hello, caller Whitney. Do you?
Yeah. I'm trying to answer.
Hello. Okay. So sorry. Just you're on the
Hold
TTL
on,
podcast.
hold on.
Okay. We'll hold.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. This is funny because usually podcasts or radio stations get people to call in. This time we're calling you.
Yeah, I know. And you totally caught me off guard because I never in a million years thought you'd actually pick my number.
Oh, well, we did pick your number. And also I recognized, we did it randomly, but I did recognize your Instagram account.
Did you?
Yes, you've been around the block on the TTL socials, I can tell.
I'm an OG.
Yes,
I'm an OG.
for sure. Okay, so,
Yeah.
and your name is Whitney, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
you got it.
Okay, Whitney, so where are you? And can you just like briefly tell us about who you are as a triathlete, maybe in like 20 seconds?
Yeah, I'm based in the Minneapolis area and started triathlon in 2015. And I just say like I just always say that it like changed my life. I just love the like structure that it gives me. And I'm really just passionate about pursuing my potential. So I think that's why I love it so much. It gives me something to pursue my potential through.
Awesome.
So yeah, and I'm a health and wellness coach and
Cool.
I'm an injured athlete right now too. So that's like just a whole other thing that I'm
Oh,
navigating.
we know,
But
we know that. Okay, well, do you have a question that we could help answer for you?
yeah, good question. So I'm gonna let you pick. I either have a question about your kit designs or about habits.
Let's go with the kit designs.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
kind of
intrigued
fun.
to hear the kit design question.
Ooh, okay. Well, I'm always just curious when I see your guys' kits, which, by the way, always are amazing. If there's like ever any like Easter eggs in them, like little symbols or elements of the design or colors that like hold meaning to you, or maybe it's just that you just like the colors and like the patterns. There's not.
Yeah.
But I've always just been curious as I'm watching you, like, I wonder if there's like some special meaning to their kits that the rest of us don't know about.
Like our personal kits that we race in.
Yes.
Yeah, good question. That's quite the process every year to come up with something different and cool. And I get the help from Kristen Mayer, who's from Betty Design, to help with mine. I like to carry over the teal color from year to year. And it doesn't have to be anything specific or any amount of size of the teal, but I just do like that kind of like, I'm known for that a little bit. Lindsay Corbin actually used to put a little, what are they called? Fly fishing
Allure?
allure on the inside of her kit because it represents her husband Chris, who loves to fish. So something like that would be so cool. I just haven't thought of like the thing yet, but it just like brings together, her family and part of her that's important. So it's cool.
I think we could probably get a little Flynn graphic to put somewhere on your
Yeah,
kit.
we could get a Flynn
I
graphic.
think this has to happen. This is born from this call. We have to do that for your kits.
It's
for
not
sure.
too late because we're designing them right now.
Yep.
So
I totally think you should put something that represents Flynn. I love that.
like fast like Flynn on the inside of the. That's cool.
Oh, that's
cool.
good. That's good.
But
Okay.
Eric's actually has a little more meaning. Do you want to talk about yours?
Yeah, I don't currently have something on there that's like super special. I have the Transition 4 logo, which is
That's
special.
That's special. That's what I was thinking of.
I guess there's not that many people that know exactly what that is.
Yeah. So do you want to tell Whitney a little bit about that? Like it's like
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I know a little bit, but please tell us more.
Okay. So Transition 4 was kind of like, it started out as the original concept that I was trying to go for with That Triathlon Life, or at least it had like the vibe and the energy that I wanted it to be. But it was originally myself and Heather and Trevor Wertel and Chris Ganter and Matt McElroy. And we kind of wanted this to be like this collective of people who cared about creating better content in the triathlon space. We all liked ski movies, and Matt McElroy had a degree in film and loved surf films. So that's what we were trying to do. And it didn't quite take off, and YouTube in the triathlon space wasn't mature yet. So put it on the back burner a little bit, but now I just see it as my, as I don't know, it's kind of like my spirit in the sport, but it's technically like a production company at this point. So anything that I do that's outside of the triathlon life scope, I kind of think of that as Transition 4, and it's my creative entity.
And the logo for it is an X, which then Eric put on like the front of his kit.
Yeah, it's on my helmet. It's on the back of my kit, and then we blew it up really big the last few years. Ralph Dunning designed that logo. He also designed that Triathlon Life logo, and he's helped me do my kits to incorporate that all over the place because that is pretty core to who I am.
Love this question though, because we care so much about our kits. I think more than other athletes might care. Just we spend a lot of time and put a lot of thought into it. So it's a good question, and I love the idea of putting Flynn on them.
Yeah, no, they're always just so stand out and just look awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, Eric, can I ask you a very short follow-up question?
Yes, that's what we were hoping, that with this call-in format, you could actually, let's have a chat.
So I'm really into my Scandinavian heritage, and obviously your last name's Lagerstrom. I have mentioned you when talking, or heard you mention when talking about coffee, about the like concept of fika before. And I have just wondered if sometimes I've picked up on some like Scandinavian influence in design and like the design of your kit specifically, but just in like other things that I've seen you have a hand in designing. And so it just has always had me wondering like, I wonder if Eric has any Scandinavian heritage, and if so, if he feels any connection to it.
Yeah, of course. Actually, the couple of races that I've done in Sweden, there was WTSs back there in the day. A lot of times people would just start speaking Swedish to me because I look pretty Swedish, and especially if I hand over my credit card and it says Lagerstrom on it, they just kind of like launch into it, and I have to like, no. I have no idea what you're saying. But yeah, it is Swedish name. I think it was like my great grandparents came over from Sweden back in the day, and they settled in Kansas, and then most of the family eventually migrated over to Oregon. But like as far as Swedish design and stuff, I think I just have like an affinity and an appreciation for things that are beautifully simple. And like when I think of Scandinavian design, that's what I think of, where like the minimum amount of things that need to be there, it's very clean. And that's definitely how I like to like design my kits for sure.
And we love the fika concept, because even though we have a nice coffee machine, we love going for coffee just for the experience.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of what we do as well every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, cool. I'm glad that my Scandinavian instincts were picking up on something.
Yes.
Yeah. Your radar was correct.
Good luck with your recovery, and we really appreciate you taking the call. You are the perfect guest.
Cheering you on. Thanks for calling me. Gosh, this has been like super fun.
We're glad. We're glad, Whitney. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon, okay?
Thanks, Whitney.
Yep, sounds good. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
That was fun. I do remember her. We were almost going to run together in Wisconsin, and then it didn't work out for some reason.
Yeah, Nick, I bet you most people that we end up calling, you have had some conversation with.
Somehow.
Over Instagram Messenger. He literally replies to every single Instagram message that he gets.
I'm not putting that in. Because I can't do it
Even
anymore.
like a heart eye emoji. He's like,
I can't do it anymore.
hi, what's your name?
Okay, here we go.
Hi.
How you doing, Elise?
Good. How are you?
This is Elise Lagerstrom we're talking to, Eric's sister.
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
And for the people who don't know, Elise was she was one of our guests, and it was one of the most popular episodes we had last year.
Yeah. Ultra running with my sister.
Yes. Elise does ultra running, and
She was a pro triathlete
was a pro triathlete,
while. Yeah.
and does 100-milers, plural. Just crazy.
Thanks for picking up, Elise. Well,
Yeah.
we'll keep it snappy. It's not like a full length pod. We're just trying to do like one question with each person.
Okay.
And we think it's cool to kind of tie things back to who we've had on before. So
Yes,
we're excited to have you here.
So the first two callers we've had, we asked them to ask us a question. But for you, I want you to help us answer a question from a podcast listener, okay?
Okay.
So, oh my God, For Elise, like the song. I tagged this one as For Elise. There's the Beethoven. Anyway. Hey guys, big fan of the podcast. Been listening since I signed up for my first triathlon, Indian Wells, earlier this month. Loved it so much I signed up for Boulder in June, the same week I finished. Question, maybe for an episode to share with another newbie. I'm a weak swimmer with sinking legs and struggle to go beyond 100 yards in the pool without stopping. My thought was, since I'll end up doing most 70.3 races in a wetsuit, why not train in a wetsuit with buoyancy shorts? I get that swimming without the assistance will make me a better swimmer in the long run, but any downsides to using floaty shorts or wetsuits more often to help with body position, get more volume in? Keep it up. Love following, Zach. So
Age-old question.
and it's a good question, right? It's like, okay, we try to like simulate races a lot, and most of our swimming is done in a bathing suit that we don't race in. So
Yeah.
good question.
And Elise, you grew up swimming, right?
Yeah.
So you're
yeah.
a good swimmer. You understand body position, but you have also done triathlons and experienced swimming in a wetsuit.
Right. Which is very different.
Very different. So why wouldn't you just swim in a wetsuit every day, I guess, this person's asking. Or floaty shorts.
Floaty shorts, yeah. I mean, I would swim in a wetsuit because I think you just overheat. But
Yes.
the shorts, is a good question. And when I was doing the most of my training, like I did think that there was a place for buoyancy shorts. And it was like recovery swims, usually in place of a pull buoy. And I felt like I could actually get the same sort of effect of a pull buoy without actually having to hold the pull buoy between my legs, which I felt threw off my form.
Yes.
So
Agree.
I was doing it, in place of a pull buoy. But I think that I understand that if you only ever plan on racing in a wetsuit, there's a small argument to be made for that. But I think you're losing out on so much strength and fitness that you could be gaining in the pool by using them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. What I like to do sometimes when I'm in floaty short mode is like do the warm up with them and almost treat it like a drill and like try to internalize in my mind how I feel like on the water and just carry that into the workout as long as possible. So do like 500 warm up with them, then take them off and just try to like hold that body position as long as I can into the workout.
I totally agree with Elise, though, that if you have them on, you can kind of lose some of the core engagement and the rotation that you are forced to do if you're swimming without a pull buoy or without floaty shorts. So they're a good tool, but using them exclusively, I think, could make you a bit lazy. And there are a lot of triathlons where you're not allowed to wear a wetsuit. And if you're exclusively training in that, then it'll feel weird.
Okay, follow-up question. So then with that same logic, do you ever think it makes sense to do open water swims without a wetsuit? Or should all open water swims be like, no, this is a good time to simulate a race, get that wetsuit on, even if it's a bit hotter than you would like, just to get used to that feeling?
Man, I feel like the conditions, there's not a lot of people who have the opportunity to do an open water swim without a wetsuit totally comfortably. And yeah, I do kind of feel like, man, if you're going all the way to a lake somewhere, you should probably take that opportunity to swim in the wetsuit.
Right. So because for example, Santa Monica in the summer, in September, I can swim in a Speedo or I can swim with a wetsuit and be pretty comfortable doing either. Maybe I'll get a little cold by the end of the Speedo, but not too much. The only reason I don't wear a wetsuit is because I'm lazy and I don't want to put it on. But I feel like in my mind, I'm like,
you should practice with it.
I should be practicing with a wetsuit.
You're just cheating yourself, man.
Yeah. Cool.
Elise, did you like wearing a wetsuit, or as a swimmer, did you always feel like it was a bit constrictive and weird to swim with?
So I didn't mind it. I felt like I practiced enough in a wetsuit that I was comfortable wearing it.
Yeah.
But as a swimmer, and definitely where my strength was in the water, I was happy when it was no wetsuit and we were going to have to work hard.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But if anyone who's a swimmer prefers a non-wetsuit swim, because wetsuits really benefit weaker swimmers more than they do for strong swimmers.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good point. Cool.
Elise, thank you so much for picking up. Thanks for answering. And we love so much that you were our guest last year for that awesome episode about ultra running.
Yeah. Do we have the episode number?
Oh, I would have to find it.
Okay. If you search Elise Lagerstrom, That Triathlon Life, you can go back and listen to our conversation with her. It was a good one.
It was a really good one.
Maybe on the screen, on the YouTube video, we can put up the number.
Oh, yes, we can do that. Of course. Of
'Cause
course.
this is video.
Wait, one more question for Elise. What are you training for right now?
Oh, good question. I'm training for the Black Canyons 100K in February.
Whoa, that's coming up.
That's like a Tucson area, right?
Phoenix.
Phoenix, yeah.
Okay.
So if anyone's there and you see someone
Who looks like Eric.
looks a little bit like Eric.
We got to figure out if we can afford to sponsor you so we can get you branded at these events.
Yeah. We'll send you some.
By the way, Elise, I just want to say that there was a funny kind of segment we have, this or that, and it was, would you rather run a 100K or mountain bike 100 miles in a race? And can you believe that Paula said she'd rather run 100K?
These guys.
Oh, yeah.
These guys don't think I
Really?
could finish it. Do you think I could finish it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And the look on her face right now was like, of course.
Yeah.
You dummies.
That's what I told him. I'd have to go slow and eat a lot. But
I don't know. Like my concern with this is more like the foot. Like,
Of course. It's not,
like
it's not
blisters.
aerobic.
It's
It's
really
not
not
aerobic.
Yeah, not a fitness issue.
No.
Well, I have a good resource to dial in my foot and all
That's
those
true.
things.
Yeah,
so.
have a phone a friend.
Phone a friend, Eric Lagerstrom, the masseuse.
Yeah, right. All right, we'll let you go. Thanks, Elise.
Thanks so
and
much, Elise.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Another successful call. We so far as I have had no answers.
Man, we're like celebrity, random person.
Yes.
Celebrity.
That's right. Elise Lagerstrom, the celeb.
Elise is so good on audio
It's
or on
amazing.
podcasts. Like,
yeah.
such a good conversationalist.
Yes. Runs in the family, I guess.
Oh, they're smart people. Like I feel like they're gonna get mad at us, but also they gave us their numbers.
No,
So.
you asked for it.
You asked
You
for
asked
it.
for it.
There's no way. Opposite of mad.
Okay,
You asked for
let's do it. Oh my
Okay,
gosh, I'm so nervous.
We're doing another caller here.
I'm glad we got Nick doing it because he could talk to a wall.
I sometimes do, you know. I feel a little lonely. You never know. Okay, here we go. You ready?
Yes.
Hit it.
Hello?
Hello, believe it or not, you are on That Triathlon Life Podcast right now. We're doing a recording of our 100th episode, and you know as well as I that you put your number in that Instagram response.
So
I know I did.
So-
Nick. Of course I did.
who are you and where are you at?
I am Jeremy Lipsche, and I'm in Fanwood, New Jersey.
Well,
Wow.
we're a fan of you, Jeremy. So we're hoping you have some kind of triathlon-related question to ask the experts, which of course are Eric and Paula.
You can also ask about cameras, vans, dogs. That's the end of
Yep,
the list.
that's the whole list.
Okay, so what was the most difficult thing that you've had to overcome and get out of your own head? Whether it's in triathlon or, Nick, for you as a singer-songwriter, kind of like something that just messes with you, and how did you get over it?
Wow, good question.
This could get really deep.
It could get deep, yeah. I honestly, my biggest thing I had to overcome was like being weird about food for like 10 years and thinking that skinnier was better and lighter was faster. And I mean, that's true to some extent, but it just became a bit of a toxic hole where I wasn't fueling properly and then got injured too much. And how I overcame it, honestly, was meeting Eric, who eats like a horse. And I
was
then
fast.
and was fast. So I started eating more, and actually the consequence of that was I got leaner, didn't get injured as much, and now I'm racing better than I have in a long time.
I'm going to take advantage of this and have a bite of this donut.
Oh yeah, Jeremy, we have a bunch of donuts right in front of us. So that's an example. I've already eaten an entire donut, and we've only been recording for 30 minutes.
We're not saying donuts is the secret, but
It's not.
It's a byproduct of a
definitely
way
not.
of thinking.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe that's something relatable, maybe not, but it's definitely something that a lot of female athletes and male athletes have to overcome. So I've luckily got out of the hole, but it can be kind of a toxic thing. So
For sure.
Yeah. Honestly, that was mine as well.
what?
Eric, tell us about your experience with that, though.
Okay. I mean, okay.
To the degree that you're willing to share with all of the podcast listeners, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to like get crazy heavy here, but I had a clinically diagnosed eating disorder in college. And the way that I got out of that is I had to actually go to the hospital, get help from professionals, and break something that is completely in your head mental disorder that doesn't make any sense. You can't logic your way out of it. No one else can help you other than somebody helping you want to help yourself, that, you know, a professional person. And that was a long process for me to change my relationship with food. And
Now it's better than ever.
yeah, it's
And now we eat donuts all the time.
Yes, we do.
yeah.
Eric,
Yeah.
what do you think? How much of this problem do you think came from issues stemming from sport versus other societal pressures that are put on everyone to be skinny and not eat a lot or whatever?
For me, it was very much related to sport. But that's almost never like the root cause of a disorder like this. It was stress related, and it's definitely a genetic thing where there's a control mechanism that kicks in, and then you go, my life is completely in flux. Here's one thing I can control, and then you inject a little bit of running, college, cross country. Even triathlon has a big focus on, yes, lighter is faster. You want to be lean and like fast for the racing and everything, and then an obsessive personality latches onto that and it spirals out of control. So ultimately for me, I had to like decrease the stress in my life and come to the same place that Paul is talking about, where you go, you know what? Strong is fast. It's not about necessarily getting lighter. In this power to weight ratio, there's two things involved. It's not just like decrease weight at all costs. So.
Yeah.
So is there something that you feel like you could have caught earlier before it became such a big problem? Or do you think once those wheels were in motion, the only way out of it was with someone else's help?
I think so. Yeah. I don't think that's something that I could have stopped myself unless, like I said, the stress had been relieved. I was running college cross country. I was kind of seen as a team leader, expected to be on top. And then there was this beta guy who was like trying to beat me every single day. And it was just like, it was so stressful for me to like remain calm and try to be seen as this team leader and be fast and all these things. And
Jeremy really opened up a can of worms here.
yeah,
It's a
Well,
great question. And
yeah.
you two are not the only two people listening to this podcast who
That's
have
true.
this problem.
That's true.
Yeah, that's why I'm okay talking about it, because I definitely felt like coming out of through that experience that if I could in any way help one person out there avoid it,
Yeah, that's better.
you know, and I think like the only ways it could have been avoided more quickly is somebody else in my life having recognized a little bit earlier and I think
stepped in.
Yeah, we're in a good place in society now where I think this is a little bit more top of mind and people are a little bit more on the lookout for it.
Wow. Thank you for that awesome question, Jeremy. By the way, before we let you go, do you have any races coming up this year that you're particularly excited about?
And where we might see you.
I am doing 70.3 Western Massachusetts that I am beyond looking forward to. And I am toying with doing Ironman California.
Ooh.
But I'm a little hesitant to do a full Ironman. So this will be my fifth 70.3 though. So
I think you can do it. If you can do a 70.3, it's not that different, right, Nick?
Results may vary.
as long as it's not in Wisconsin during the rain.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Nick's trying that again this year.
I'm
so
trying it again.
hopefully the weather will cooperate and he can tell you if you should do Ironman California.
Yeah. Well, the first year Ironman California was canceled because the weather was so bad morning of the race.
That was a bit freakish, though.
That was freakish. No, it's going to be a great time, Jeremy. Thanks so much for being a part of our 100th episode.
No, thank you guys for everything that you do for the community. And I love listening to you guys and watching your vlogs. Eric, I started watching you because of your van.
Oh.
And your new van is just sick.
Yeah.
we agree.
Saying all the right things, Jeremy.
We agree.
You're crushing it.
Thanks so much, Jeremy.
Thanks for picking
Thank
up.
you guys. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Jeremy's a killer. I love it.
Legend.
I love it.
Okay, next caller. Let's
Okay,
do
next
it, Nick.
caller here. Here we go.
What's up?
Wow. Okay. So, caller, or actually, we're the callers. You're the listener. You're the caller-inner. You're the important guest here. You've made it onto the 100th episode of the That Triathlon Life Podcast.
Tell us your name and where you're from.
My name is Talbot Cox, and I'm from Oklahoma City.
Oh, boy.
Oh, we got a celebrity on the
Oh, my
pod.
Wow.
What's up, guys?
Talbot, our format is we're calling like random people that have sent us their number to ask questions, like, you know, listeners of our podcast. But we decided to sprinkle in some celebrities like you and Trixie.
Oh, my gosh. I am far from a celebrity, especially if you're comparing me to Trixie.
No, you're very well known in this community. I would bet more of the listeners know who you are than Trixie. But
Oh, 100%.
Definitely.
Probably true.
Definitely.
Probably true. Well, how's it going so far?
well, it's good. We're chowing down donuts, and we are 1 hour into the pod, so it's drawn out, but it's good. It's good stuff.
Yep.
Nick, were we asking Talbot a question, or is he asking us a question?
We're having Talbot help us answer a question.
Okay.
Yes. So, Talbot, this question is for all of us, and we want your perspective on it as well.
Okay.
I found the pod about a year ago, and I love the work you guys do. I was wondering what camera is recommended for a beginner photographer and any other helpful tips for beginner photographers. Thanks for all you do. Have a great 2024. So my usual answer for people is like, an iPhone really can get you a lot of the way. But for people who want to graduate beyond that, what do you think? Paula, you just got a new camera. Talbot, you do cameras all the time. Eric, of course, same with you.
Yeah. But let's let Talbot go first.
I guess we should qualify. Do we want to talk about photo or video or both?
I just imagine that anyone who's buying a camera is wanting to do probably wants to have the option for both.
All right.
Both.
There we go.
Because if it was video, I would still say invest all your money in a new iPhone.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Interesting.
I mean, the log recording with the ProRes is pretty cool.
And what is it up to now? Like 9 times zoom lens?
5. It's 5.
Yeah.
But 5, like, optical zoom.
Right. Looks freaking
It
good.
looks really good. It
Wow.
looks
Yeah.
really good.
I don't know the different models, but if I could go back and change my entire kit out, I would go Sony.
Yeah.
So I would say a lower tier Sony, one of the cheapest entry level Sonys. I'm sure you go up to the camera shop, but I would go Sony personally. if it was
Trixie
me.
actually just bought an FX30 and loves it, which is a crop frame version of the camera that you use for most of all the TTL stuff.
Yeah. So inside of the Sony lineup, the camera that I've been shooting on since Flynn knocked over my old camera and everybody
Rest in peace.
pitched in to help us buy the new
Thanks
one.
to Talbot.
Yeah. Thanks to Talbot.
Ooh, I do remember that. Wow, good times.
That's the A7S III from Sony, and that's a fantastic camera. It's certainly not cheap. If I was saying like something that's a little bit below that, that'll get a very similar result, I might say the A7C II. Which is it's a little bit more photo centric than if it is video centric, but it's like half the price.
The thing I really love about the Sony cameras is you have fantastic battery life, small file sizes relative to how good the footage looks for video, and then the autofocus is state of the art. It's the best autofocus you can buy in a camera.
It's actually mind blowing. If you were to look at the screens we're recording on right now, it's locked onto Nick's right eye.
Yes.
So, Talbot, what do you shoot on?
He's a Canon boy.
I shoot all my stuff on Canon, but I would switch just because my kit's so big.
But switching's a whole thing because you need new lenses. Is that the idea?
Yeah, because you need, exactly. And so you usually, if you're going to switch, you're going to take a big bath on lenses and all that. You got to sell your whole kit.
Yeah.
But I'll wait. Usually, Sony and Canon, they always are releasing this would be interesting for people to know, they're always releasing their newest and latest technology on the Olympic year. So that's like their main thing they do.
Is that a Talbot kind of conspiracy theory thing, or is this tried and true?
No. It's every Olympic cycle they release their biggest cameras, and then all the best top level photographers get to use them in the Olympics. And they try and test them, and then they use all that for all their imagery.
I feel like Sony jumped the gun and dropped like the A9 III or whatever that shoots like
crazy camera,
like 200 pictures a second or something.
Maybe they'll use that.
Well, usually they're announced around probably the next couple months. Like they're announced going into the year, and then all the photographers will use them at the events, and then they basically become public in the fall.
That's
like where
cool.
poor folk can buy them.
One more question for you, Talbot. When you're not on site with Lionel and Erin's filming, is she using an iPhone?
No, she recently bought a Canon R5.
Okay.
So, no, sorry, R6.
Still though.
So one step down. Yeah. But we're still working on the settings a little bit. But it's usually very helpful for when I already have footage and stuff backlogged, and she can just get like an interview or something.
Yeah, totally.
So
yeah, cool.
That's where it's the most helpful.
Nice.
Very cool.
That's what we do. But I have a question for you guys. Where are you going to do your spring training camp?
Oh,
well, as
I
of
wish
right
we had
now,
an answer, Talbot.
As of right now, Bend is spring, so we're just gonna stay here.
Yeah, we're considering Tucson though. We just need to find a place to rent. So expensive.
Yeah, Caden Lieto called me and it's like, I'm going to try to get Paul and Eric to come out to Hawaii.
Yeah, I think that's the move. I'd rather go to Hawaii.
I don't know why Caden's trying to come to Tucson. We should all be going there.
I know, exactly. I was like, I think they have Flynn, and I don't think Flynn has because I think you have to have special shots to go to Hawaii.
Yeah, we're not traveling with Flynn. We're not flying with Flynn.
With the horse?
If you guys went out to Hawaii, I'd totally go out there. That'd be so much fun.
Well, we could find a dog sitter.
Yeah, we'll find a dog sitter.
Okay,
the Queen K gets old, but if you're going out for a 3-week training camp, it's not like it gets old when you live on it.
Dude, I'm not riding the Queen K. No. There's a bunch of other
much riding.
Yeah, we're doing the deep cuts.
Hey, all right, think about it. I'll join you out there.
Okay, we'll chat off air more.
All right.
Thanks for picking up, Talbot.
Thanks for the call. We'll see y'all soon.
Thanks, Talbot.
Bye.
Peace. Bye.
What a legend, that man.
Great question for him. Very appropriate.
Yeah, I saw it in the list, and I thought that's a good Talbot question.
Yeah.
It is funny though what he said about Sony, because he uses Canon and is pretty dedicated to Canon. I shoot Canon photography, but do Blackmagic for film stuff. And I still am very envious of Eric's Sony setup.
The look in your eyes every time you pick up my camera and it shoots beautifully and is like locked on autofocus.
It just takes no work. It's like, oh, I don't have to worry about the stuff that really is not what I consider part of filmmaking, which is battery management, how big it is, the focusing. Like the focusing is nice, but you can always turn the autofocus off on your camera and then you have full control. The Sony stuff really is excellent. And that's why it is so used.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things.
I have two Sonys pointing at my face right now. I don't know what they are, but
the one thing that I would totally accept if they wanted to send it to me is the DJI Ronin 4D 8K.
That thing is big.
Please, DJI.
Okay, let's call our next guest.
Hello?
Hello, this is Nick from That Triathlon Life Podcast, and believe it or not, you are part of our 100th episode.
That's awesome. What's up?
Okay, so tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name's Zach. I'm from Kentucky, but right now I'm at the Y swimming.
At the Y swimming.
Are you in the pool, Zach?
I was wondering what that sound was.
Yeah, I just got out.
Oh, nice. Okay. So we're not interrupting your workout.
So you jumped out of the water
No,
to
and-
grab your ringing phone.
But pretty much, I mean, I'll jump out of the water for anything.
First of all, the kindest thing we could possibly do is interrupt Zach's swim session, so he has to get out of
I was
the
going to
water.
say, that's like you want your friend to call you in the middle of a bad date. And like,
Yes,
oh, I
like,
got
oh, sorry.
my thing. I got to.
Well, Zach, we've actually met you before. I've met you before. You met Eric too, right?
Yeah, we met
Yeah.
Eric in Milwaukee.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
That's right.
Very much enjoyed the whiskey that you gave me.
Yeah, I've actually got another bottle for you. I just keep forgetting to get to the other side of town and ship it.
That's all. It's all good. Take
That's
your
why
time.
we picked you to call.
Wow.
But we're hoping you have a question for us. That's kind of the format of this special pod.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So we'll go like a this or that.
Okay.
Donuts or croissants?
Donuts, which we're eating right now.
Donuts.
A really good croissant beats donuts for me, but if we're talking average donut versus average croissant, donuts.
Yeah, well, we can't just like fly to Italy for croissants whenever
I
we
wish
want.
we could.
Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome.
Okay, next.
Okay, next, let's go with gravel bike or road bike?
Gravel bike.
Road for me.
I think I will enjoy the gravel bike once I'm on one more.
You've never tried
It's
it.
hard
I
because
tried
like
it here one time, Chris Corbin's bike.
yeah, you live in the land of the best road biking in the United States, so
Yeah.
that's hard. We live in some of the best gravel riding.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty jealous of Nick's Strava feed for sure.
It's great. I cannot complain at all.
All right, last question. Let's see. What's your most memorable moment in triathlon?
Oh. Mine was racing at the Olympics in 2012. And it wasn't a good race by any means, but it was definitely the most memorable in terms of like deafening crowds and just the hype was insane.
That would be awesome.
For me, it was the first time that I won Escape from Alcatraz in a sprint finish against 6-time champion Andy Potts.
That was epic.
That would be pretty awesome too. What about you, Nick?
I think for me it was sometime in January 2021 when I saw Eric and Paula jump out of their van at Shevlin. Was it Shevlin?
come
It wasn't
on.
Shevlin.
The first time we met each other in
Yes,
person.
yes.
Wow, that's corny, but
Yes,
it's,
sorry.
it is nice.
I accept.
Otherwise, like it's probably racing Wisconsin. That was memorable.
Yeah, I can imagine.
What about,
well-
so Zach, what are you racing this year?
So I'm doing 70.3 Louisville because I live here.
Okay.
And then I've got a sprint in February. I've got a 3 months of sprint February, March, and April.
Nice.
And I bought a mountain bike this year, so I think I'm going to try to do an Xterra in June or July. I don't know what
Xterra
one it
Oak
is.
Mountain, baby. Come on.
The one in Indiana. I don't know because it's close.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Where's Oak Mountain?
Alabama.
Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's not too far.
That's a good course.
Okay, what month is that?
Maybe May? I forget, actually.
Is that early?
Could be early, yeah.
That would actually
It's
be
earlier.
perfect because I wanted to do Chattanooga again, but it just falls in bad timing. So
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like last year, Paula did Chattanooga, and then the next day drove to basically Birmingham to do watch me do Oak Mountain. They were like on the same day.
Oh.
oh,
that's
okay,
interesting.
okay.
Yeah, check the schedule.
So then that may not be the best. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I really want to try an Xterra because although my road bike is probably my favorite bike, my mountain bike is one that I've had the most fun on, and
Yeah,
I've only had it
totally.
for a
Of course.
Yep.
That's awesome.
You've entered the dark side. There's no going back now.
month. All right.
Well, thanks for the support, Zach, and thanks for picking up the phone. Hopefully we'll see you again this year at a race.
All right. Sounds good. See you later. Thanks.
Later.
Bye, Zach.
So you pulled a fast one on me. You knew him. You know Zach.
Yeah.
You know.
I guess I pulled a fast one on you with Trixie. And
anybody who gives me fancy whiskey, I remember for life.
Yeah, that's true.
So keep that in mind. Anyone who wants to send Eric a present, fancy whiskey works
Yep.
great.
Okay, you ready for the next number?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Hello.
Hello, this is Nick from That Triathlon Life Podcast. You are on our 100th episode right now.
Awesome.
How are you? What's your name and where are you calling from? Or where are you talking from?
Rick in Chicago.
Wow.
I heard
Nice.
that Chicago. That's very nice, Rick. Okay, we were hoping that you might have a question for us that we could help you answer, specifically Eric and Paula with all their years and years, decades even of triathlon, pro triathlon experience.
All right.
Awesome. Well, first of all, definitely, Eric, kudos to you. Love the vibe. Love how you guys incorporate backcountry skiing, all that sweet stuff. Unfortunately, in Chicago, we can't do that.
Can't you just go skiing down the street or something?
Well,
Like behind a car.
we do ski behind the cars sometimes.
Yeah.
We just tie a rope up and go for it.
All right. Love
And
it.
that's only up in the northern woods of Wisconsin. But, specific question. I guess I'd be super curious to know how detailed your training plan is. Is it, I love hearing you guys talk about it, and I love the fact that oftentimes you're like, well, it says I should go hard, and it's not super specific. And I think many age groupers want to go. They're so type A that they're like, well, I need 30 seconds at 300 watts and then 40 seconds at 315 watts. How exactly specific are all of those for you guys?
What a great question.
Rick, you're a coach, right?
I am a coach.
That
yes.
sounds like the kind of question a coach would
Wow,
ask.
did you just guess that, Paula?
No, I looked at his Instagram.
Oh, okay. Wow.
No, that's an awesome question. I would say that our training is actually very specific. It's like we have very specific, you do hard for X amount of time, times 5, and here's the recovery length and everything. But then the intensities are I don't want to say arbitrary, but it's a range of effort more than anything. Like Paulo, our coach, will sometimes give us a little bit more specific wattage range, but even when we're doing what he calls fat max, which is, I think this is like zone 2 kind of, it's a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That for me is like 240 to 270. And so he's always leaving in a little bit of interpretation for us, depending on how we're feeling that day and, our energy levels and psychological levels and all the things.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a range than an exact number. And I've had a coach that was the opposite. Neil Henderson gave us very specific, like 92% of your threshold for 5 minutes, that type of thing. Whereas Paulo's a little more open-ended in the numbers, but also I think that there's a bigger plan behind the training peaks that we don't see. So we're just kind of following day to day, doing what it says, a little bit less scientific than what I was used to, but it seems to work. And I think that there's a purpose for everything. So that's what helps me every day, is just knowing that he put that there for a reason. If it's a cruise or easy run, it's supposed to feel truly easy. And it doesn't always need to be guided by heart rate and power and pace. It's like the feelings you get when you're doing that, you kind of intuitively know if it's hard or not.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm kind of more along the lines with Eric on how easy is there really easy running? Come on, Nick, you got to help me out.
I totally
don't
agree.
think there's really
no such thing as an easy run.
running.
Agree.
No, there's
I
not.
agree. I could also, especially if I'm running easy with Eric, like our easy paces are not the same. So I get stressed because I'm like, this feels hard to me, but you should just go because this is not the same pace for both of us. But
Yeah, that happened today. It's like, I don't think easy is a real word, and Paulo's never ever used the word easy.
Paulo, your coach.
Yeah, he uses cruise is like, that's your aerobic pace, but I've never seen easy written on my schedule with Paulo.
yeah. Running
Awesome.
is interesting because like people will say the word recovery run or easy run, and I think with the load we're putting in with riding and swimming, it's really hard for running to feel easy at any point, even if you're running 9-minute miles. So it's just because the nature of like the impact, it's always going to have some kind of
Absolutely.
difficulty factor.
I will change my answer a little bit. Paulo did have a kind of a running joke forever. Easy Monday. He would always write that on a schedule, and it was a 60-minute run, a 5K swim, and another 60-minute run.
That's not easy.
None of it. There was
There's
exactly
nothing easy about that.
Nothing was easy. It was like a running joke, but in your mind, it like sort of faked you into thinking, oh, this is like, there's no structure. These are very low intensity workouts and a low intensity day, but you're still putting in volume. But somehow in your mind, I don't know. It's like almost like just kind of joking about it. And
Yeah, I think the only true thing you can do easy is a bike ride because you could go 50 watts and that's easy. And you're completely weight supported. And that's my favorite way to do an easy activity, I'd say.
So for running, it's not like any of you are saying that there is something wrong with running at a very low intensity. The mistake is the word easy.
Yeah.
That word is just, it's misleading.
Yeah, because
right?
running's hard.
Yeah, it's always hard. Even the 9 minute or like plenty of people will run 10-minute pace too. Even that, if you're still kind of having that impact on your body each time.
Yeah, totally. That's a good question though.
Yeah.
I don't like the word easy run.
But I will say, like, I like when my plan is specific, because just like when you guys were doing that thing in the pool today, the swim train or whatever, you did 1,000 straight, but you said it went by so fast because you had something to think about. You had something to focus on. And instead of like go out and do 1,000 at steady pace, it was like, well, you got to pay attention to the person in front of you, and every 100 you're switching who's in the front or whatever it is. I'm like that way with the training too. I like it when it's like 5 minutes at 252 watts and then 3 minutes at 273 watts.
Yeah.
You know?
And some coaches are like that. What, Rick, how do you coach?
I like the range, just like what you guys were talking about. I think that every day you feel a little bit different. And so, you know, as an athlete, you're never going to feel exactly the same on race day as you do in training. And so you have to be able to make that call. So, you know, instead of cruise, it might just be zone 2. And that zone 2 is such a wide span.
Yeah.
That maybe you're pushing the upper end of it today, and maybe tomorrow you're not feeling as good, so you're not pushing as hard. But I do like those ranges as well.
Yeah, and being mature enough to know how to actually listen to your body, and
that is the key.
And do the easy if you're feeling tired. Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for such a great question. It's really going to spice up this show.
Yeah.
It is.
Thanks.
It is.
Thanks for listening, Rick, and thanks.
I'll have something to listen to on my dog walk tomorrow morning.
Perfect.
Well, you do know that you can watch this one tomorrow.
Yeah,
this one's going to be a video.
That's going to be even better then.
Yeah. Just don't walk and drive. Walk and watch. Don't walk and watch. Yeah.
No, I won't be able to.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks so much.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.
This is this calling random triathlon people has been surprisingly effective and successful.
Triathletes are very articulate and
Yes.
charismatic.
Yes.
I thought it was going to
Don't
be
listen
like,
to what everyone else tells you about
hello,
triathletes. Yeah.
how many grams of carbs should I take on my run? Like, okay, see you later,
I fell
Fred.
asleep halfway through that. That's great. That's great.
Do you know what's a funny thing to do?
What?
You guys, all the listeners can do this. Scroll back to our very first episode.
Oh, God.
And listen to the intro. We haven't actually changed the jingle or the intro.
We haven't changed anything.
But we were really, I think, different in almost a better way. Like, we were so naive about it. We were much more conversational.
Yeah.
Not that we're not anymore, but we treated it in a different way.
Well, we had no idea where it was going. I don't think us from episode 1 would have thought, episode 100, I'm going to fly in. We're going to do it with cameras and set up. We're going to be calling podcast listeners.
And people are going to be like supporting us every week or every month. It's crazy.
Especially with number 1 and probably like number 2, 3, we were still like, let's just record this and just see if it sounds stupid.
Yeah.
Which it does, but we like that.
Yeah, ultimately it's been fun. So
ultimately it's been amazing.
We cannot believe, we would never have imagined it could have grown to how it's grown.
It's my favorite thing that we do. Like I love making videos and everything, but this to me is just like pure fun that we get to do every week. Nick has to edit, obviously.
I was going to ask you, do you think if you didn't have to edit, if you had a clone of yourself that had no negative feelings, that could just be like, yeah, I'll edit for 20 hours in a row. I don't care. I love it. And they did the editing and you just got to do the shooting, the creative part. Do you think that would change your enjoyment of making the videos? Or do you think the editing for you is a part of the enjoyment?
It depends. Editing is like such a love-hate relationship. Sometimes I'm feeling it and I feel so smart and I got to go show Paula immediately how I managed to like go from swimming to skiing in Canada in you know, like 2 shots or something. But then sometimes I'm just staring at the screen for 3 hours. Can't figure out how to go from skiing to
the life
swimming.
of an artist.
Yeah.
You just described it.
I don't know. I think I have thought about it a lot, and there's certain episodes like our race videos. I would love to pay someone to edit those.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of footage and I never have an idea like going in what it's going to be and like how do we mix in our commentary and everything. So some of those bigger ones, but these ones that I've been doing, especially like last week and this week where it's pure vlog, I'm not stressed at all about the structure of it. I'm just like fun thing. Those are so much fun to edit.
And I will say, Paula does give you the satisfaction when she likes it. She lets you know. She's
yeah.
like, this is awesome.
Yeah, play it again.
Yeah, play it again.
Like, okay, we're playing it again.
Yeah.
Play it again. Play it again.
So then it's good.
Okay, let's do another caller.
Okay, other caller. Here we go.
Hello.
Hello, this is Nick from That Triathlon Life Podcast.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing very well. You're on the 100th episode of our podcast. Congratulations.
I am.
Who are you and where are you at?
I live in Edmonton, Alberta.
And what's your name?
My name is Sheila.
And what's your last name?
My name is Sheila Findlay.
Yeah, you're gonna make us beg.
Oh, it's my mom.
I wasn't sure you were gonna pick me, but thank you for doing so.
Well, what's funny is that we've been we kind of had some pre-planned numbers, and now Paula's been feeding me numbers to call, and she thought she would be sneaky and give me this number, except I already have your number in my phone, so it came right up. I knew it was you.
Aw.
It's been successful though. Everyone we've called has been super into it and really good. So
No, that's fine.
what's your
So the pressure's on.
Yeah,
The
do you
pressure is on.
have a question for us? That's how we're doing this.
I have a question for you.
Let's-
Did you ever think when you started that you would get to episode 100?
We just talked about this.
Wow. The answer is no. We thought we'd get to episode 2 and then we would quit.
Yeah.
But it's sorry, go ahead.
What made you continue then? What made it? What spurred it on? What kept it going at the beginning? Before you really had a lot of people following, what was the inspiration?
Like from my perspective anyway, it's just pure fun. And it's Nick, Paula, and I getting like, we have a scheduled phone call where we get to hang out and talk about stuff that we want to talk about each week. And then Nick doing the work on the editing. Like, it's easy for me.
I think there's a part of it. I think you guys knew how much I had fun doing it, how much I loved it. And I think there were some weeks or some times where you guys did it because you're like, this makes Nick happy and we're going to do it for Nick. I think there was a little bit of that in there as well.
In the infancy, yes.
Yeah.
Also, as you're starting anything new like this, like you, I don't know, if you're a successful company or a person and you get onto a new platform, like the growth all of a sudden is extremely exciting, generally speaking, unless you're doing crappy work. So that was extremely fun at first. Like our first week, we like messed up the Spotify algorithm in some way because we just brought a big audience over from YouTube, and it was like, you're the 5th biggest podcast in the United States, just because we went from 0 listens to whatever 1,000 listens.
That's the thing. We started out with an audience. Like, I think it would be a lot harder to podcast if you were starting out with nobody knowing what you were.
Oh, man,
so
huge.
having the YouTube, having like the people already following us, they just go straight over and immediately listen, and that's a fan. So
I will say though, like I've looked at this data before. The amount of total streams or downloads we got in the second month of the podcast is nothing compared to how much we get within the first hour of an episode now.
Wow. So it has grown a ton.
It has grown a ton since then. Even though we had a lot of people who started with us, it has grown significantly from there.
Yeah, cool. Well,
big congratulations to all of you. I think it's just amazing. And even though you're my family, I still think it's the biggest, coolest thing. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Enjoy it.
You and Nick's mom are the biggest fans.
Yeah. And by the way, my mom is very clearly a fan. She's like, and by the way, the podcast would not work without Paula. If Paula's not on the podcast, I don't want to listen to it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell her that I feel the same about you.
Oh, great. Perfect.
You're good at keeping everything going, even when, Paula's grumpy or...
Oh, thanks, Sheila. Checks in the mail. Checks in the mail.
You keep it going. Yes, for sure.
Okay. Thanks, Mom. Love you.
Okay. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye. She's been there. She's a real
She's a day oneer.
She's a day oneer, but she's come to races to help
Before
cook
day one.
food, and obviously she was there for you when you were just a wee little child.
Yeah.
Trying to race your triathlons.
Behind the scenes.
I knew she'd have a good question too. Every once in a while when we're having a chat, she drops like super insightful stuff about our entire TTL ecosystem. So
she'll space out she likes the pod so much that she'll only allow herself like 20 minutes one day, 20 minutes the next day, so she can listen to it every day.
Wow.
So part of the reason I'm motivated to do it every week is because she listens to it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that was fun. Okay, should we do another?
Let's do one more.
We can't stop.
It's addicting.
We can't stop. This is addicting.
This is also going to be the longest YouTube video you've ever put up.
That's true.
For sure.
That's fine. We're going to put 700 ads in here. We'll be making so much money.
700.
We don't do ads on the podcast, but
YouTube.
Yeah. No, seriously, I think we will have to have some ads. Otherwise,
course.
YouTube won't show it to anybody.
Yeah.
Tragically.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try another. Ready?
Okay, ready. Hello. This is Nick from That Triathlon Life Podcast. How are you doing today?
Hello, Nick. I was just making sure it wasn't FaceTime. It was only FaceTime audio.
Only FaceTime audio. Only FaceTime audio. We don't have the funds for full FaceTime on the podcast yet. We're working towards it. That'll be episode 200.
Can you tell us your name and where you're calling from?
Just in case anybody hasn't figured it out yet.
And the longest distance you've ever run. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, my name is Heather Jackson. I'm here with my puppy Stevie. I'm calling in from about 20 minutes south of you guys.
Okay.
Sun River.
Amazing. Well, Heather, we're so happy to have you on again. It's just a short clip. We got like one question for you. And the way we've done this podcast is we've had like our random listeners send their phone numbers. So we've been calling them and then we're dispersing it out with like our famous friends like you and Trixie. And so it's
Paula's mom.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
So we're so glad that you are free to talk for a few minutes. So thanks, Heather.
Oh, yes. Perfect. Very cool.
Okay, so here's this question, Heather, that is for all of us, but I thought it would be particularly good for you since you've done some epically long races and training sessions. Okay. This is from Kylie. Question about finding the right bike saddle. As I've been ramping up my training and doing some more indoor training rides, I've been noticing I start to get a lot of saddle and foot pain after just about an hour on the bike. Is some level of pain in the saddle normal, and if so, how much? I've been using the saddle that came with my bike, which is an ISM split nose, but think the split nose part of the saddle may be too wide for me. What part of the saddles do you all ride? And if I were to try a new saddle, what brand would you recommend?
Ooh.
I actually have a really good answer for this whenever Heather's done.
Well, Heather rides mostly a gravel bike now. Like, have you been on a TT bike since last year?
I think I got on it once maybe, but I did to this question. I rode an ISM saddle forever. It was the only saddle I rode until I actually made the switch to the Shimano Pro saddle just recently, which is also a split down the middle to have that kind of open entry. So I think the biggest tip would be to find that width that they're talking about. Sometimes with the ISM, I have friends and family on those as well, is like tying them tighter so it's not as wide, even with just zip ties.
Yeah.
That is,
but the Shimano Pro saddle I'm on now is, I like that, having that kind of like open area for your area down there for sure. And it's much narrower. So
is that the TT style Pro?
Yeah, but I have it on my gravel and my road bike.
Yeah, I rode that forever on my TT bike, and it's really good.
Now, why? So my understanding is that your sit bones, like the part of your butt that you're actually sitting on, it kind of changes the more you roll forward. And the width that you need for a saddle also changes depending on how rolled forward you are. So I'm curious that you use the same saddle on your TT bike as you do now on your gravel bike, even though your position, I'm sure, is different.
Position is definitely different, but I sit the same. Like I roll like my pelvis forward, like I'm still time trialing, and I set up my bikes that way. So still very much.
Do you feel like you're able to get more aero on a gravel bike than the people you're racing against?
Ooh. I feel like I would if so many of the gravel races have banned the aero bars, but I still try to ride
as aero as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're also just so little that I think you're aero by nature. Just even if you're sitting up, you're an aero. I'm looking at this saddle online. So it's not separated right at the nose. It's attached at the nose, but then there's a big gap in the middle. Is that right?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, Eric and I ride the power saddle from Specialized. Similar looking idea.
Very, very similar.
So I think that's kind of the way to go for a lot of people, men and women.
You guys ride the Power on your TT bikes?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, we ride the Citaro.
Citaro, but it also has a gap like this.
I love the Power saddle for my road bike though, and my mountain bike. I have the Power saddle.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So the thing that I immediately thought of when this came up, which could be a good option for some people, the Australians, Ellie and Zach, when they were here, they were trying out this new saddle, and I think have some sort of affiliation with the company now. It's called Bi Saddle, and you can actually, there's like gears in it that like allows you to adjust in the front and in the back and everything, how wide the those like channels, whatever you want to, the sit spot. So
because everyone's sit bone is a different width.
Yeah. So if you're like a tinkerer and can't find the right thing, that might be an interesting option.
Okay. Now to answer this question though, is it normal to have that kind of pain after an hour?
No.
No, because imagine if you're going to keep extending that would just get worse and worse.
And especially if you're also feeling foot pain, that's a clear sign that like
there's something numb.
Yeah,
something's not
There's
right.
something being pinched from somewhere.
So Heather, at the end of a long gravel ride, will you even notice your saddle, or is it just kind of there and it's like a part of your bike, you know? Or are you like, oh, I'm getting pretty uncomfortable here?
I mean, I certainly get uncomfortable as the day goes on, but I think that's more just being in a saddle for 8, 9, 10 hours.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No matter what saddle it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
But I certainly don't have discomfort. I don't have like pain discomfort or like numbness or tingling or anything. So I think that's definitely something to be concerned with.
Yeah. Cool. Well, it is achievable. You just got to the problem here is trying different ones, which is quite challenging, but go for the Shimano Pro or the Specialized Power. I think that might work for a lot of people.
I don't know if it's the case still, but at least back in the day, you could go into a lot of bike shops and they would have demo saddles that you could rent from them for like 4 or 5 days. And that will save you a lot of money. But I think at the end of the day, most people have to try like 3 or 4 saddles until they find the one.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, totally.
Sad truth, but it's part of the game. But once you do find that saddle and you can just focus on everything except for that, it is a nice reward.
Yeah, and like maybe buy 4 or 5 of them just in case they stop making them.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks, Heather, for answering. And we should get dinner this week before Nick goes home. He's here till next Thursday.
Oh, sick. Yes, for sure.
Okay.
We are here.
Cool.
That would be great.
We'll text you off. We'll text you after.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Thanks, Heather. Bye.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
This calling has been a smashing success. Can I just say?
How are we ever going to go back to just talking to each other?
I
so
know.
boring.
I hope it's fun for the listeners though, because it's very fun for us. But I don't know how it's going to translate.
I don't know. At least my experience with our videos and stuff. If we're having fun,
Right.
if I'm watching a video
Comes
of someone
across.
else having fun, even if they're freaking playing dominoes,
Right.
like this is awesome. This person's so excited about the thing.
If you're liking this and you're watching it on YouTube, leave us a comment. If you're listening on Spotify, you're missing out on the visuals, but let us know with a comment on Spotify as well.
Yeah. The feedback is much appreciated, and we will put your comments into action.
Yep.
Okay. Should we do one last one?
One last one.
Call him back. That's
Could I
fine.
just accept the call?
Yeah, do it.
Okay, we're gonna do something crazy here. We're gonna accept a call. Hello, and you are the first person that is actually calling in to the That Triathlon Life podcast. This is Nick, by the way.
First ever call
First
in.
ever, yes. So, who are you, and where are you calling from?
My name's Mitch, and I'm calling in from Nashville, Tennessee.
Hey, Mitch. Sorry to put you on the spot like this. I hope you weren't just calling back a random number, and now you're like, uh-oh, what did I get myself into?
No, all good.
Okay, Mitch. So, as you probably remember, we're doing our 100th episode now, and we're calling some podcast listeners, hoping that they may have some questions. Not that they wrote in, but that they will read live to us on the air. You don't have to read anything. You can just tell us, but we were hoping you had a question for us.
Yeah. I mean, so I have followed along for quite a while, and I'm actually just about to start racing professionally. I just took my pro card going into this year.
Wow.
Congrats.
Thank you. And me and my girlfriend, we've followed you guys a ton. We've actually met Paula a few times at a few different races. We race for, I don't know if we're allowed to say this, but we really race for Working Triathlete.
Oh, yeah. I do remember you now. If I saw your face, I would recognize you instantly, but The phone calling is weird.
For sure. But I guess basically a question I have for you guys is, being in the position that we're in now, and kind of haven't really proved ourselves to the world yet. What are some of the things that you kind of recommend to like entry-level pros, like when it comes to potentially being valuable to different brands?
Wow, that's a great question. But you and your wife are both new professional athletes. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so we both just took our pro cards. She has had 2 age group wins in 2023. All my finishes were top 5.
All right, say your first and last name, both of you guys. Shameless plug. Everybody can go follow you.
That's right.
Yeah, Mitch Ott. I guess my Instagram handle is Mitch_A Ott, and hers is pretty similar. It's Caroline Kaplan. Her Instagram handle is Caroline_R Cap.
Awesome. Well, that's such an interesting and awesome question, because we just launched the development team, and the whole point of that is us trying to share this exact sort of thing with some people in your exact position. How do you jump into this crazy landscape of like, am I supposed to take pictures? Am I supposed to have a YouTube video like channel on day one? And am I valuable? It's a hard time.
There's a lot of different ways to do it. And I think what we found throughout doing all of our media stuff is that results are still important. And if we weren't racing well, none of the stuff we do would be as relevant. So personally, my main goal every day is to get up and train as well as I can, so I can still go and win races and have the best results that's possible. And the other stuff is a bit secondary to me, but Eric loves the media stuff so much that to him it's like energy. So he can do the videos, he can do the pictures. So my advice to you guys would be find what it is that gives you energy and what you love to do, and whether that's pictures or I don't know, different things, but a podcast, videos, and make that your thing, and don't let it overtake your training and like your mission to be the best athletes you can be. But those things all are valuable to sponsors and help with your visibility ultimately. And I really think it's cool that both of you are doing this together, because that's a cool story to begin with. Like, you've already got something unique about your pathway to being a pro, and it's that you guys are doing it together. It's like me and Eric doing it together.
I wish I would have thought of that.
No, people love that, because it's like, what's the dynamic? It's not always easy. So
it's really hard for, I'm sure, most people out there to imagine training with their significant other all day long in like very challenging situations. It's like The Amazing Race, when they're like, okay, you're both going to carry these huge rocks up a hill together and you can't leave each other's side, and like, everyone fights, get the popcorn.
Yeah,
this is going down.
That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Paul is like bang on. The thing that makes you most valuable is telling a story and like saying, here's the thing that's important to me, here's what I'm trying to achieve in this world or in this whatever, and like sharing that process of growth and progress towards that thing. That's just like, that's a storyline that's been going on since people could write and tell stories, and like we all latch on to that. I can see this person cares a lot and is pursuing a thing that's important to them. Are they going to do it?
Yeah.
So that might mean that you take pictures. That might mean you write a blog, do a vlog, like any sort of thing. But putting it out there and giving some people, like when you do ultimately win that first big race, they can go back and like fall in love with your story.
Oh wait, Mitch, you're a former rower. That's a cool story too.
Yeah. So I didn't grow up swimming or biking or running. I grew up rowing. I rowed for about 9 years throughout high school and college. That's like the most I've spent my time in. The biggest, way I've spent my time.
Well, worked for Cam Worth.
Worked for Cam Worth.
Exactly. And then when I graduated college, started racing triathlon. So that was just about 3 years ago.
Yeah. Cool.
And then
I think rowing is like one of the best sports to come from, because your aerobic engine is like so big. It's the hardest sport. My mom's a rower, and we were doing 2K time trials over Christmas break because we thought it was fun in a horrible way. But what's your 2K PB on the erg?
Oh, that's a big question. 6:18. And
damn, that's fast.
I was lightweight.
Oh, you're a lightweight too. Oh my gosh. Because my brother's like 300 pounds and his is, I don't know, 6 something, but he's way harder.
Strong,
it's way harder if you're lighter.
Yeah, of course.
Cool. Well, that was a bit of a tangent, but I'm fascinated by rowing.
We love tangents here.
Yeah.
Yes. It's that tangent life sometimes.
Mitch, tell us what you're racing first, and maybe we'll run into you this year somewhere.
The debut for both Caroline and I will be St. Anthony's.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, wow.
Sick.
So they'd be
Best
racing
race
against
in the
Eric
country.
and Paula, potentially.
I just got an email today actually asking us to come back.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
hopefully
Hopefully we'll see you there.
Yeah, sounds great.
Oh, I'll 100% be there.
Yeah, it's one of our favorite
sweet.
races.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for picking up, Mitch, and good luck with the training this winter.
And your pro life here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you guys. We definitely look up to you and wish you the best of the luck for the rest of the year.
Thanks so
Awesome.
much. We'll chat with you soon.
Have a good one.
Bye.
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 How are we possibly going to top this?
I
We're
don't-
going to do another 100. Like, I think episode 200, we have to do the same thing. And,
I agree. This is so cool.
Where do you think we will be at episode 200? Like, I don't know. I guess
Dead?
I never. That's not how time works.
Ideally, not in the upstairs office of our room. We're gonna have a freaking podcast studio at like TTL World headquarters. That is not our house.
Because it's 2 years.
How long did it? It's 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, if we do every week, it's a little.
Okay,
around 2 years.
We're going to be in the same house in the same office.
Or in TTL headquarters in Beijing.
Yeah.
You know, who
No.
knows?
We might just have like a little newborn baby sitting right here.
Oh my God. Will Flynn continue to grow bigger?
Oh my
Nope.
God.
Just
Okay.
whining.
Well, I don't know. That was fun. If it was up to me, I'd keep going. But Nick tells us this is going to be hard to edit.
I'm editing for the first time a video in conjunction with audio, which already takes me like 3 hours to do each week.
Yeah,
So,
this is going to be a bear to edit, but
Yeah.
I think it's worth it. And I just want to say personally, this is easy for Eric and I. This is not easy. Nick does all of the hard work of this. We just get to chat with him every week. Nick edits it. He does the sound. He does the jingles. He does the this or that with TTL. That is Nick's voice. So thank you, Nick, for making this possible. Thank you
You
to
are
our
welcome.
supporters
Yeah, that's
who make
the
this
real thank
possible.
you.
Truly, that's what keeps this going because we are able to compensate Nick and we get a bit. I mean, it just feels like a thing and we feel loved and we feel like people want to listen every week. And if
Yep.
it weren't for you guys, we would not be motivated to do this. So huge thank you to the supporters and just to everyone who tunes in and listens. Are we going to cry?
Are we going to cry?
Our donuts are gone. Our donuts are gone.
I started
I
eating
still
your
got more donut.
replacement one, Paula. I'm halfway through your replacement one. I had my whole, whatever, Long John Silver, whatever it's called.
The Long John Tiger.
Long John Tiger. Exactly.
That's a sexy name.
Long John Tiger. Maybe you should have named your newborn Long John Tiger.
All right, we can have a baby if its name is Long John Tiger.
Okay. You heard
Deal.
it. Deal. He's going to be so fast, though.
Yeah, he better be with a name like that.
Guy rips. His name is Long John Tyler, too.
Okay. Well, we had great. Thank you for everyone who did pick up and
Yep.
answer. That was really fun.
Really fun.
Okay, cool. See you guys next week.
Ah, it's over.
Well, they won't see us, hear you
sad.
next week.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah, we'll talk to you guys next
Yeah.
week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.